Hey folks, this is Nick O'Malley here again with Kevin Dillon after another New England Patriots win. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals, what was it, 35-17?
Yep.
After a kind of slow start, then they turned on the afterburners in the second half and they blew the doors off the Bengals to a pretty good win. Kevin, what did you think of the game?
Well, first things first, it was Brady's return, and he looked really good in his return.
Yeah.
He had well over 300 passing yards. He had 3 touchdowns. He was just really dominant passing the ball, and he looked good moving around the pocket too. Yeah, I mean the Bengals were kind of pushing him around a little bit.
Yeah, well, the reason he had to move around a lot is because the protection was pretty rough early on. That was the story of the first half. The Bengals were able to pressure Brady and have him chase around. And the Patriots really couldn't get anything of a pass rush going in the first half. They didn't sack him in the first half, they really hit him. And then the second half, they really changed.
Yeah, and I think he did a great job of kind of adjusting there, moving the ball to the flat with James White, which was really effective, and then also those crossing routes over the middle to Chris Hogan and Gronk and etc. So he had a great game. I thought the fans had a great game. They did a great job of showing up here for Tom Brady. My favorite guy was the guy that was sitting beneath us that had a literal goat mask on. You know, you see those guys with the horse heads on. This guy had a goat mask on along with his Tom Brady jersey, and so that guy was the fan MVP of the game. But we had a lot of different guys, a lot of different girls here celebrating Tom Brady's return, and it was a happy one. So.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is how big the Patriots. We talk a lot about the Patriots. Like it's kind of a given that they make halftime adjustments, but in this game, they were kind of clunky in the first half, but they still managed to come out with a 10-7 lead. Then in the second half, the Bengals get the ball, and the Patriots still outscore the Bengals 25-10 in the second half.
Yes.
And so that was a great showing in the second half on both sides of the ball. The defense, like Dante Hightower at the safety, they had that. With 4 minutes remaining, the Bengals were in a spot where they were kind of in fourth down territory, but they got that huge sack on Andy Dalton and had them on 4th and 22 in their own end of the field, and they couldn't go for it. And that kind of ended the game right there. The Bengals had to punt it away, and the Patriots had plenty of time to run that time off the clock and ended up scoring on that drive.
Yeah, no, and I mean, for me, the biggest play of the game was Dante Hightower coming up with that big safety, because it was 14-10. The Bengals had started off the half with the ball, and they scored on that first drive. And then Hightower, it was a holding call that actually brought the play back into the 8-yard line. Hightower comes up with a big sack, and right after that, Patriots come right down the field. Gronkowski scores his first touchdown. Like, you're not going to come back from that. That was a big momentum shift right there for Hightower, who's now forced 2 safeties in a row. So great play from the linebacking core. No Jamie Collins in there. Landon Roberts had a great game, especially on that goal line stand.
It was good to see him come back from that, or I think it was a concussion. It was listed as a head injury, but apparently it wasn't a concussion because he came back. If he had a concussion, he would have stayed out.
Right. But yeah, no, he had a great game, and he's one of those guys. Jonathan Freeney's now on the IR, and Jamie Collins a little banged up. Hightower's banged up early in the year. Those two are they're awesome, but they're having a little bit of trouble staying on the field. And then now Landon Roberts comes in and then shows he can really make the plays that they need him to make. So good for him. He had a strong game. I thought it was a really good game for the front seven in general. I saw Alan Branch had a few big plays. I know Jamal Sheard and Hightower split a sack at one point. So the front seven did a great job, and they were a big factor as to why the Patriots defense, I thought, did pretty well.
Yeah. We had a question about someone concerned about Stephen Gostkowski. He missed an extra point today. He had 3 misses going into the game. He hit the 1 field goal today. And it's with the extra points up to the 35, it's a little bit more understandable if he's missing a field goal like that. But I'm not concerned about Stephen Gostkowski personally. He's now 8 of 11 on field goals, and he's missed 1 field goal extra point so far. And so those are all like 35-yard field goals. And so it's not his best season. He's already matched his number of misses from last year in the regular season. So this is pretty much a given that's going to be a down year for him. I still think he's one of the best kickers in the NFL. I just think it's been a bit of a rough start for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like, it's one of those things where you miss 1, you miss 2, and then people just kind of start panicking. Because, I mean, the Patriots have been spoiled with kickers. Gostkowski came in right after middle
basically the first time we've had kicker concern in like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, you have probably the best kicker of all time in Adam Vinatieri, and then you just hand it over to Gostkowski, who essentially has been one of the best kickers of all time with the Patriots. So, I mean, he's having a little bit of a rough start here. I don't think there's any need to panic. Maybe Gostkowski just needs to fix a few mechanical things, and he'll be right back out there. So.
Yeah, I need someone to read these questions for me.
But yeah, no, I mean, again, we mentioned a lot of different players. I guess kind of there was one player on offense that you thought had a really good game, not named Tom Brady. Who would you pick?
I really like the way that the Patriots, obviously Rob Gronkowski had the great game. That's the easy answer. But the Bengals had this weird thing where they didn't cover him on a bunch of plays, and that's just stupid. They should cover Gronkowski all the time with two guys all the time. But the Bengals are dumb, and they let him get a bunch of yards. I really like the way, I think the Bengals really made it a point to cover Gronkowski and Julian Edelman. I think they definitely put an emphasis on the Patriots' main threats in the first half. And that really opened things up for James White and LeGarrette Blount, who had a bunch of catches in the first half. The Bengals clearly made it a point to take away all of the perimeter guys, and so the Patriots are like, all right, we're just going to give the ball to James White 10 times in the first half. And he had a great first half, touchdown the second half on quick dump-offs and stuff that we've seen Shane Vereen do and Deion Lewis do. Not as effective, but still good.
Yeah, I know, and it was funny because you watched him that first half, and just over and over again, you can see it's like James White in the backfield zooms out to the left, catches one for 3 or 4 yards. But that's all the Patriots needed to do was quick, easy plays, and that's what the Patriots love. They love. I mean, that's pretty much what they do with Edelman. Even when they had Welker, they would do these quick little routes and then get 4 or 5 yards.
And then if they slip a tackle, 15 yards, 12, 15 yards.
Exactly. I mean, James White juked the pants off of one of the linebackers earlier. And then, he had a really good game. And, I mean, overall, I don't know if there were really even, too many areas of concern for the Patriots. I know they had a couple touchdowns there for the Bengals, and people were getting concerned about the defense. I know you're not concerned about the defense.
No, they've given up 13 points a game this season. They gave up a decent amount of yards. They gave up a bunch of yards. Some long drives for the Bengals, but they had the nice goal line stand. The option play to Andy Dalton looked rough, but that was more on Dante Hightower. The Patriots didn't have a guy to take the quarterback, and so Rob Ninkovich, I think, was supposed to take the pitch man, and he had two guys. The Bengals blocked it well, and if you block an option like that well and there's too much traffic on the goal line, you're going to walk into the end zone. And that was just a good play by the Bengals. But they moved the ball, but A.J. Green only had 5 catches for 79 yards. No one had an outstanding game for the Bengals. There was a lot of sustained drives, but no explosive plays. That's the biggest thing for the Patriots. You're not seeing the plays where it's a 40-yard gain here or a 30-yard gain here. There were a couple 20, 25-yard gains, and those were rough to watch, but no backbreakers.
Yeah, and you and me were both talking during the game. We thought AJ Green had more yards.
Yeah,
he was performing really well, but somehow they limited him to not too many yards per catch. He was making these nice catches and nice plays, but they weren't huge plays. One more thing I wanted to get into was Rob Gronkowski getting into it a little bit with the Bengals defense. I know he was kind of bobbing his head and trying to getting under Adam Jones' game. Vontaze Burfict getting up in his face. What did you think about that?
When I saw the play go down, they didn't throw the flag immediately, and I saw Rob Gronkowski. He was you could see his helmet bobbing, and you could if you saw the play, it's he clearly said something to a guy on the ground. And when you see that, it's that feels like it's going to be a flag, but nothing came, and then a few seconds later, there's a scrum, and then a flag ended up getting thrown, and it ended up being a taunting call on Gronkowski. It was bad, it was dumb. They gave first and goal at the 25, and they pretty much killed their chances at a touchdown, but yeah, he shouldn't do that again, but it wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine Bill Belichick not being too happy about it. And Gronk said after the game that, I'm just glad it didn't hurt the team. I mean, it hurt the team a little bit. They were in the red zone, and then suddenly it was 1st and 23. You don't see that too often. So I'm sure he'll hear about it in the film room, and I'm not sure that he'll be doing that again. So
no, he probably won't.
Yeah, I guess any other thoughts on today's game? Or?
Patriots need a better pass rush and do a better job of containing quarterbacks. We've seen with Ryan Tannehill, Tyrod Taylor, quarterbacks getting around, buying time in the pocket, and then throwing downfield. Andy Dalton did the same thing today. That's the biggest issue with the Patriots defense, I think.
And Bill Belichick actually talked about that before the game on the 98.5 show. That he was basically saying, hey, Andy Dalton's run for the 3rd most yards of any quarterback this season. And then, what do you know? He runs an option in for a touchdown. Yeah. What do you know? He's escaping the pocket and doing a great job with kind of extending plays. So, yeah, I'm sure that'll be something they look forward to. And, next week they have a quarterback who escapes the pocket and extends plays really well, Ben Roethlisberger.
If he's healthy. He was knocked out today.
He was not knocked out. He came back, so we'll see if he's healthy. But, the Steelers are up next. They're obviously a tough matchup. But, right now, the way the Patriots are playing, How much of a challenge do you feel like the Steelers would be?
Well, the Steelers just lost to the Dolphins, so I have no idea what to make of either of those teams right now. I know the Patriots are pretty good. They're 5-1. They're getting better. The Steelers, if they're out there losing to the Dolphins, I have no idea what to make of that team.
Awesome. Hey, thank you everyone for watching. We're here at Gillette Stadium. We'll be back here. Well, no, we won't be here next week. Next week is in Pittsburgh, so be sure to tune into all of our coverage at MassLive.com/Patriots. And thanks for watching.
All right, thanks, folks.